Hello everyone. Welcome to Spring Boot Tutorial Episode 7. This is my channel Proto. In this video, we will look into the most important topic in Spring Boot fundamentals. And the most important interview question for Spring Boot developers. Which is nothing but qualifier annotation. We will see why this annotation is actually needed. And how to use this annotation. And how many approaches are there to use this feature. Most of you know that Java does not support multiple inheritance concept. Multiple inheritance in brief, where a base class is being inherited by two derived classes. Hence raising ambiguity on which superclass methods or properties to execute that leads to diamond problem. To overcome the diamond problem, Java introduces interface, and I don't want to deep dive into it. I assume that you already know Java fundamentals. Likewise, ambiguity also happens in Spring Boot. Let me explain in short for now, and later on in this video, we will look into the reasons for the ambiguity practically. Assume that there is a base interface. I implement the base interface in two classes. When I try to use the base interface in my code, I cannot determine which one of the two implementation the object will use. This raises an ambiguity, and hence you cannot start the application. Now let's do it practically and see how we can solve this problem. First we shall create an interface. Let's name it as Payment App. This interface has a method declaration in it. Now let's create a class named PayPal that implements Payment App Interface. Annotate the class using @component. Add the unimplemented method and give it a definition. Now let's create another class named Google Pay that implements Payment App Interface. Annotate the class using @component. Add the unimplemented method and give it a definition. Let's see the actual ambiguity happens in this scenario. Create a controller class named Component Controller. Annotate the class using @REST controller. Add the beans of the Payment App Interface and auto-wire it. Create two APIs /getPayPalInfo and /getGooglePayInfo. Now return the implemented methods from both APIs. On running the application, you will see that you cannot start it. The reason for this is due to the ambiguity on this scenario. In Component Controller class, you see that we declare two interface beans. But Spring Boot doesn't know which bean will call which implemented methods from which class, either PayPal class or Google Pay class. Since there is a confusion in this scenario, Spring Boot is unable to create and process the bean. First let's see the approach 1. Here, we mention a custom bean name, inside the component annotation, under the value attribute. Here you can see, in PayPal class, we have customized the bean name as PayPal Payment. Likewise in Google Pay class, we have customized the bean name as Google Pay Payment. Then in Component Controller class, we will auto-wire the beans, which are already customized in the Google Pay and PayPal classes. Customize in the sense, we can rename the bean as per our wish, but we have to use the same bean name on the auto-wiring places. Now, when you run the application, you can test the response on the web browser too, instead of testing in Postman. Now, paste the URL and hit it. You will get the relevant responses for both the APIs. In approach 2, only @component is used, in Google Pay class and in PayPal class. By default, Qualifier takes the default bean name, which will be represented in camel case format. We can also customize the bean name, like we have done in approach 1, and then we can use qualifier annotation. Qualifier annotation will be used above the bean instantiation. This annotation has value attribute that accepts the bean name. It can be either default bean name, or it can be a customized bean name. Now, when you run the application, you can test the response on the web browser too, instead of testing in Postman. Now, paste the URL and hit it. You will get the relevant responses for both the APIs. In approach 3, as already told, we can customize the bean name as per our wish. Here, in PayPal class, bean name is customized as My PayPal in the component annotation. Likewise, in Google Pay class, bean name is customized as My Google Pay in the component annotation. Now, in the component controller class, we will use the same customized bean name in qualifier annotation for bean instantiation. Now, when you run the application, you can test the response on the web browser too, instead of testing in Postman. Now, paste the URL and hit it. You will get the relevant responses for both the APIs. That's it for this episode, and I will come up with another exciting topic in the next episode, and until then stay tuned with Proto Hub, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you.